closet, won't sit. Past lives in boxes. Music comes up till it's seeped from my skin. Can't stand to hear it. Means more to me than photographs. Pictures of backyard and northern sunsets are all that exist in my mind. Freshly cut lawns and daytime sprinklers. Spiderwebs on a grey wooden fence. I remember the convenience.
So we're starting from where I left off last time at Twizel Bridge. This is the first of the historical bridges. Beautiful, isn't it? Has an interesting history. Twizel Bridge was built in 1511. As the only dry crossing of the River Till between Ford and the Tweed, it was used by the English army in 1513 to outflank the Scots at Flodden, and hence played a major part in the English victory. So today what we've done is we've parked the car at Horncliffe and then used public transport, got the bus to here, which was really good. I was trying difficultly to explain to the bus driver where I wanted dropping off. Luckily for me, there was another passenger who's walking to Ettle, the same walk that I did last time. So this is walking across the old Twizel Bridge. It was still in use as a road bridge until 1983. Obviously it must have been traffic light, but it couldn't have taken traffic both directions. However, in 1983, the new road bridge was opened, and that's the one that's currently being used for the traffic. And this is just for pedestrians. Let's have a quick look at the other side. Stunning. It's a shame there's no reflections of the bridge in the river. Would have made some great photos. Never mind. This sign here tells you all about the bridge and it's the role that it played for the Battle of Flodden. It's another sign. When you leave the road, it gives you a choice of two paths. We took the bottom one initially and walked along the river a little bit. It didn't seem to be going in the direction we wanted, so we doubled back. We're now taking the higher path, and this one looks more promising. So Twizel Castle started as a tower house and was held by Sir John Henry in 1415. It was destroyed by the Scots in 1496 and used by King James IV of Scotland to hold council there before the 1513 besiegement of Norham Castle. It was considered an endangered building by English Heritage. I'm not sure if it still is or not. Amazing place. It was sold by the Herons to the Sully family in 1520 and sold again to Sir Francis Blake in 1685. Work started in the latter 18th century to convert it into a Gothic manor, but after 40 years of work it was never completed. In 1882, the castle was partially demolished and made into a folly, which is what remains here today. surprising. I believe it was supposed to be a 5-storey manor house. It just got abandoned. Most of the upper stories got demolished and the stone was sold off apparently, or used to make the new hall, which is a little bit further along. So this is Twizel Castle, everybody. We're going to move on now, continue our walk. And quick last look at Twizel Castle there before we leave. Imagine if that was 5 stories. I mean, that's about 3 stories that's been left. Would have been huge. Pretty amazing place. So glad for our detour at the Grand Tour to see the place. Well, I'm glad we came this way, because this is an interesting find. Oh yeah, we've got a little cottage. That's a walled garden, possibly. Certainly not lived in anymore. Just walk through a cobweb. It was a substantial property, or a series of properties, possibly a small terrace that has since been left to ruin. Wow, what an interesting find. This is great. An old farmstead, possibly. Could be pigsties. A lot of nettles here. Nettles are often the sign of a settlement, like the nitrate in the ground. Wow, what a substantial building. Nearly would have missed it if I'd kept to the footpath. It's very overgrown. That's the end of the property. Wow. That covered some distance. I was hoping that would have got us down to the river, but it doesn't. It just takes you to the back of that old property. We'll try through this woods before cutting into the field. So we found a little path here which will take us underneath the bridge and back onto the Grand Tour. However, first we've got a little path up here which will take us over the bridge. So we're going to have a look over the bridge first. Here we go, it's the top of St Cuthbert's viaduct, also known as Twizel Viaduct. It's quite a drop to the bottom. Well, there is the path that we want down the bottom there. You can't see it. Have a look at the other side. Over there, by the way, is St Cuthbert's chapel. It was never a real chapel, it was a folly. Wow, that's really high. This is a brilliant place, I'm loving it. So St Cuthbert's viaduct, or Twizel viaduct, opened in 1849, but it was closed in 1965 when the railway shut down, and then it was made into a public footpath. But by the looks of it, it's not used very often. Okay, so this looks like it's going to be a hairy descent down to the river. You don't have to descend to the river along this path, there are other paths you can use, but we are going to attempt it. So we're underneath the first buttress. Arch. Okay, that was a hairy descent. Obviously, if you come this way, you have to decide whether you're capable of coming down that hill or using a more safer route. It is possible to cut across the next field and join the path there, which would save you having to come down that bank. If you do come down the bank, this is what you were awarded with. The underneath of the viaduct. Oh, what a beautiful view. So as far as I know, I could find some interesting surprises like that old abandoned building. The rest of this walk is basically a nice river walk until we get to Norham, and then we have some more interesting things to see. So despite what we saw from above, the path is quite overgrown and disrepair in parts, but it is passable. There's a closer view of St Cuthbert's chapel, the folly. As I said, it's not a real chapel. Had I been on my own, I would have gone across and had a closer look, but as I'm with my daughter and we're doing a 10-mile hike, I was probably pushing her to our limits, so we're not. There you can just see where the tail joins the Tweed. Some beautiful refractions in the River Tweed. So it's going to be a lovely walk along the river. Hello. I'll show what the shed was used for. Pretty dry inside, but looks like it hasn't been used for a long time. There's quite a few little islands on the Tweed. There's a little boathouse. There's a boat in the river as well. Instead of walking this, I wish I could just get on a boat and go down the Tweed on the boat. It'd be lovely. So I'm guessing that must be Twizel Boathouse. There's supposed to be a path through here, but it's just so overgrown. It's just like no way in hell we're going to get through there. So I'm going to follow this track up and see if we can find a I think there's two paths. I think there's one that goes slightly up above the banks and one that goes along the banks. The one along the banks, by the looks of it, is impassable. So let's see if we can find the upper path. On a little bit of a ridge here, you got this big, like, hollow in the woods, and then on this side you got a big drop down to the River Tweed. I'm a little concerned because we should be at the bottom of that drop, but as I said, the path is just non-existent. It might be easier in the winter, we might be able to see the path, but like that was just like absolutely no way in hell were we going to get through all of that undergrowth. So we're up to where the old railway track used to go, and there's a signpost for the river there. We're just going in the direction which we want, Norham, 3.5 miles. That was where the old railway would have gone, along there. The path is nicely cut for us by these kind people that goes around the back of their property. So we're slowly descending back to the river. That's where I really want it to be. Be careful on this path, it's quite well maintained, but it's a narrow path, and further back there was quite some large drops. If it was muddy and slippy, it might have been a little bit more difficult. Before we cross this bridge, look at this graffiti. Was that 1881 possibly, or 1811? Carved into a tree. Wow. That's old graffiti for a tree. Usually can't make out graffiti that old. This is quite a lovely walk. I would say the only downside of walking through these trees is the number of cobwebs I've walked through. I'm busy walking with my hand like this to prevent them going all over my face. So this looks like another place where the Tweed is separated by an island. This one looks quite a substantial island with trees and stuff growing on it. Makes you want to visit. Okay, so that island is substantial enough to have its own name, and it's called Dreeper Island. The path's become very overgrown here. It is viewable, you can see where the path is. So this is actually the border between England and Scotland, River Tweed, at this point. Makes you jealous looking into Scotland and seeing nice, well-maintained paths. And on this side, nettles, thistles. Oh, it's starting to open up a little bit now. Hopefully this looks good. So this little cottage looks interesting. Oh look, we could steal a boat. To be in a bit of a state of disrepair. A closer look. Oh, it's not padlocked. There's a ladder going upstairs. Chairs and settees. Looks a bit like a buffet, this one. Fishing records. Going back years by the looks of it. Salmon and Trout Association. It's a fishing hut. Seems to be quite open to anyone going there to wear your fish. Little stove. Nice little place. I don't think we're supposed to be in here, but it's a nice place to stop in any case. Although that settee and this chair are absolutely minging, as are all the other chairs with dust, so it hasn't been used for a very long time. It just seems to be going to waste. It's the cobwebs. Okay, so now I'm thinking that perhaps that hut had some sort of camera that we weren't seeing, because there's a car just driven across the field and it looks like it's come to see what we're doing. Hello. Okay, so when we got to that little hut, there was 2 cars parked there. One was the man who was having the barbecue, who seemed to be there enjoying himself, fishing and what have you. The other one definitely had someone who looked like a bailiff in the car, checking what we were doing. We didn't get challenged, but his presence seemed to be there because of us. So if you are passing that little fishing hut, be warned. It might not be a good idea to enter. How beautiful this place is. I think we're coming up to the outskirts of Norham. This is very Lord of the Ringsy, through the blackthorn hedges on either side, through a little tunnel. So this here is Lady Kirkley Bridge near Norham. So on one side Scotland, this side's England, and this area was one of the most contested crossing places of the Tweed in the border disputes between Scotland and England. Wow, what a beautiful bridge. We actually go up over the top, but I want to pop down so I can get a good photo, because I couldn't get one from the other side. Oh wow, stunning. Really nice bridge, this one. And then where those tower bits are, that's like the border between England and Scotland. Just walking back to get the full bridge, full effect. Wow. Okay, if you're coming this way, it's better if you go underneath the bridge and come up on the path on the other side. It's a much better path. We have to walk across part of the bridge at least. So this is the halfway point between Scotland and England. Lady Kirk and Norham Bridge, built by Tweed Bridges Trust 1885 to 1887. So this is the halfway point between Scotland and Northumberland. Before we go, let's have a look on the other side. Be a shame not to. There's another substantial island on that side. There's a lot of islands on the Tweed. There's the England sign. I'm kind of hoping that the Mason Arms is open. Try and get a drink. Oh, it looks like it is. Excellent. I have zero idea why there is a well in the ladies' toilets at the Mason's Arms. But it is a cool feature, and there's a skeleton at the bottom of the well. Unusual, to be honest, to see an England flag. Let's go and check the church first. Parish Church of St Cuthbert, Norham. A lot of gravestones here. The St Cuthbert's at Norham. This seems to be made out of little bits of a previous church, possibly. So that's St Cuthbert's Church. I don't have a great deal about it. And this is the highlight of this section of the walk, Norham Castle. That's a view of 1,000,000 photographs in Northumberland, especially of this place. So Norham Castle was ordered to be built by the Bishop of Durham in 1121 to protect his lands in the north of Northumberland. However, it was soon captured by the Scots in 1136 and handed back to the bishops, captured again in 1138 and then left to be derelict. You've got this inner moat as well. There are a number of times when the Scots managed to breach the outer walls but were unable to get past this moat and breached the inner walls, but Norham Castle managed to survive a few sieges. The castle was rebuilt in the late 12th century, but taken by the English crown because the Bishop of Durham had joined a rebellion against the crown. It was then eventually returned to the bishops in 1197 and then back to the crown again in 1208. It was strengthened by the crown and then it was returned to the bishops of Durham in 1292 and was used by Edward I to launch his invasion of Scotland in 1296. It withstood 3 Scottish sieges in the early 14th century before being taken in 1327 and returned to the bishops soon afterwards. In the 15th century, the castle was strengthened again and it was laid siege to in 1497. However, it was able to withstand the 1497 siege, but then again fell to the Scots in 1513 and then taken back again after the Battle of Flodden. The castle was strengthened a number of times through the early 16th century, but allowed to fall into disrepair by the end of the century, with Elizabeth I choosing to invest in Berwick instead of Norham. So this here are part of the 16th century defences that were added, which were gun placements which didn't exist prior to the use of cannons in warfare. So these were added in the early 16th century. And these wonderful vaulted ceilings and into the dark. I should have brought the big torch with me. One of the things I really like about Norham Castle is, even though it belongs to the English Heritage and I have English Heritage membership, it's free to enter. How many substantial castles such as this are free to enter? Not many. And we can go up. I love the fact that you're free to explore this place. Fabulous castle to visit. The walls are so thick. You really need to come here to appreciate the thickness of the walls. See, this was once 5 stories. This is how big Twizel Castle was supposed to be had it been finished. Gives you an idea of the scale of what Twizel Castle should have been. The ambitions of the family that built it. So we double back on ourselves a little bit before taking this footpath to Horncliffe, which is 3 miles where we park the car. Norham gets dubbed the most dangerous place in England because it got sieged by the Scots so many times, taken, given back, taken, given back. So when you get into the castle, first of all you've got to cross the river here. And you're going to go up this little bit of embankment, and then you've got a cliff to climb before you get to the castle. That's where the path used to go, along the side of the cliff. And that bridge has been totally destroyed by that tree coming down. It's part of cliff erosion. See if we can get a picture of the castle going up there. You can see the castle up on the top. Quite a defensive place. This is pretty cool. The tree's roots have cracked up that large rock. So you can see the path certainly didn't become very well maintained once you passed the fishing spot. Beautiful spot. Very nice inside, isn't it? This is Green Hill Fishing Hut. I'm not even going to bother trying the door, because last time we had the bailiff come and check us out. Yeah, it's another fishing and boat lodge. There's loads of them. This one's all boarded up. It's got a lovely roof. We've been seeing a lot of cow pats on the path, wondering where the cows are. We just found that they're on the island, and some of them are crossed over into Scotland. They're reaving themselves. Oh, canny size. Some big horns as well, the one on the other side. A little fishing lodge is on the island, as are all the cows. So we need a boat to get to the island, or swim across like the cows have done. I think the Scottish cows will keep heading into England, as opposed to English cows heading into Scotland. It's not taller than it first appears. There's a couple of places where we've had to crawl underneath ivy. But this one's alright. I think if you're much taller than me, you might struggle. I'm 5'11" and shrinking with old age. How beautiful is that? That's where we're heading, Horncliffe on the top there. Underneath is a cliff, and the way that the vegetation has clung to the cliff makes it look like a ruined castle. Oh, how beautiful is that? This part of the Tweed's really stunning. Look at that. Amazing. Like S-bend as it heads towards Berwick. The view over there, so beautiful. But look at the view going back over as well. Wow. So nice here. I thought after Norham Castle that would be it. It would just be a boring walk with a few boat houses and fishing lodges. This bit here is stunning scenery. It's so beautiful. Camera will not do this place justice at all. Yeah, you get the full appreciation of that little island with the cows and fishing lodge. Farmer's going home now. Wow, look at that. Wow. Absolutely just wow. Look at that. Oh, this is just so beautiful. I feel like we're coming towards the end. Apparently it's called Harriet's Walk. For a good footpath for another 3 miles. And it did say Horncliffe 3 miles at the other side. So I'm guessing this must be the place. This place is a lot bigger than initially thought. There's the local pub. So if you wanted a drink when you got to the end, there is a pub. Okay, we'll park down there a bit. That looks familiar. The part closer to where the bus stop is. The bus stop's actually going out of the village. So I'm not sure exactly where we were for a moment. currently closed, but it's going to be opening soon. Being saved. So must have been some sort of community project to save it. That's good. That's nice when things like that happen. Horncliffe won a gold medal in Britain in Bloom. It's like a community centre. The sign's quite interesting. It's like a map of the area. And it's the different houses. What did I think of that walk? Well, I had some good points of interest, didn't it? 2 castles, those bridges, which were pretty spectacular. To be honest, I was very surprised with the viaduct. I wasn't expecting much, and it was much more than I expected. And the same with Lady Kirk, Norham Bridge. That was quite impressive as well. Norham Castle I've been before. It's an excellent castle to visit if you've never been before. Definitely worth a visit. Twizel Castle was the first time for me to go. That was quite something. I was quite impressed. I was surprised at that little farmhouse. Thinking about it as I was walking along the river, I'm thinking that might have just been like a gardener's house, because those walls looked as though that they were like a part of a walled garden, because I had like fireplaces built into the walls for like heating the walls for growing things like peaches and stuff like that. So I've got a feeling that might have been a gardener's cottage originally. There were 2 pig pens there, but yeah, it was an unexpected find, something quite interesting as well. After Norham Castle, I thought that was going to be it, to be honest. I thought I was just going to enjoy the walking along the river until we got to Horncliffe. That view just before we get into Horncliffe, that is amazing. That is like, yeah, that's in the top 10 views in Northumberland. That was stunning. It's definitely not number 1. There's much better views, and we've seen most of them on the ground tour so far. However, that is definitely in the top 10. That was something else. That was just so beautiful. I don't think the camera is going to capture that at all. I think that's the one that you're going to have to come and visit yourself, and there's plenty of little benches you can sit on and just sit and enjoy the view. If you're an artist, it would be an excellent painting. It really would. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button for the next adventure. Share with your friends on social media, and I'll catch you on the next one, which will take us into Berwick.
Digging through a closet, walled cities, past lives in boxes. Music absorbed till it seeped from my